You're welcome to day 7 of Unlocking the Power of Storytelling. It's been such an exciting past few days with you. I'm so pumped up, so excited, so happy that you've stayed through to the end. 7-day class, trust me, I know it's not so easy staying through it all, but I trust that day 1 was exciting, day 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and now to day 7 is power packed, value packed, and trust me, if you can just go through all the slides again, if you still need to find out one or two things you're not sure of, if you can implement all that you have learned with the action plans I gave you and the assignments, trust me, your writing game, your presentation game will definitely not be the same again after this, because I have shared with you the basics of what can help to become a game changer in your life, a game changer in your personal branding, a game changer in your sales conversations, a game changer in how you interact and communicate with people, how you can create deeper and more meaningful connections with people by showing your true and authentic and vulnerable self, not losing your self-esteem, mind you, but getting more deep, valuable, and meaningful relationships, which at the end of the day will add positively to your bottom line with your audience, your clients, your target audience, your prospects, your leads, whoever it is you're having a relationship with. Trust me, it is a game changer. It has changed my life and the life of many of my students who started applying the principles of storytelling. So moving on to day 7, the final day of this masterclass. If there's any way you can reach me on LinkedIn, Dr. Ishoma Elora Ona, you can send me a message there, a DM. If you need any more explanations in for any of the topics, I would be happy to explain further. But I'm sure that you would have gained so much value from this 7-day class. So today we are talking about measuring storytelling success. We've gone through the art of storytelling, being authentic, being vulnerable, so many aspects of storytelling. And now I want to show you how to measure, the storytelling success, how to know if you're getting it right or getting it wrong, and then we move on. Because as a storyteller, you invest time and effort into crafting compelling stories. Remember, I'm always talking about writing it down, practicing, rehearsing, and keep doing it until you get better at it. So compelling these stories is not as easy as people think it is. Writing these compelling stories, is not as easy as people think it is, but you need to start from somewhere. I hear people tell me, oh, Dr. Ish, but I don't know how to tell stories. Nobody was born to know how to tell stories, but you need to practice it. You need to start by writing it and then saying it. I know how to write it and I know how to say it because I've been doing it for over 15 years. Some people are very good in writing it, but in expressing themselves may be a bit of a challenge, while some know how to express but may not know how to write, vice versa. But I have over time, because I have taken time to intentionally practice it, do both the writing aspect of storytelling and the speaking aspect. It comes with practice. And if you have any challenges or issues, when it comes to presenting, pitching, storytelling, public speaking, and all that, please reach out to me on LinkedIn. It's just as my name appears on the screen, Dr. Ishioma Elora Ona. Send me a DM and then we can take it from there. So, how do you know if your stories are having the desired impact? Measuring storytelling success is crucial to understanding the effectiveness of your stories and making data-driven decisions to improve them, right? Because we don't tell stories because we just feel like talking, or because we feel like gossiping, or because we feel like making anyone feel nice or make ourselves feel good. There must be a relevance to it. There must be a target to it, especially if you're in sales. You're not telling stories because you feel like whiling away time. You're telling stories because you want the client or your audience, if you're writing, to make informed decisions, and so that you yourself can make data-driven decisions to know how to improve on your storytelling style or the type of story to tell. Remember, we spoke about origin stories, personal stories, and there's so many kinds of stories. So you find that one which works for you. So measuring storytelling success matters, because why does it matter? Remember, I'm always out for the questions. It matters because it helps you understand your audience. You with time you get to know the kind of stories your audience wants to hear and your stories your audience don't want to hear. Storytelling is not about you. Please don't get it wrong. It's about your audience. Yes, you're telling stories about yourself, about your clients, about your journey, about your success, about your failures, but you're telling those stories bearing in mind the end result of how this is relevant to your audience. You're not telling it because you want to make yourself feel good or because you are looking for pity. Remember, we are looking for results for yourself in terms of sales or your personal brand, or for your clients in terms of solving their own pain points. So it helps you understand your audience by measuring the impact of your stories. You can gain insights into what resonates with your audience and what doesn't. So if it doesn't resonate with them, you stop it immediately. And if it resonates, you keep doing it and you keep getting better. Two, it improves your storytelling effectiveness by evaluating the success of your stories. You can identify areas for improvement and refine your storytelling approach. Three, enhances credibility and trust. By demonstrating the impact of your stories, you can build credibility and trust with your audience. Four, it informs future storytelling efforts. By measuring the success of your stories, you can inform future storytelling efforts and make data-driven decisions. So there are certain metrics that people use for measuring storytelling success, and I mean, I would say that there are quite a number, but so we don't overstretch this too long and so it doesn't become too complicated for you, I'll just speak to about four. Now, engagement metrics. These metrics are measures such like amount of shares you get, comments and views can indicate how engaging your story is. So you will not measure it only by the likes. No, you will measure it by the likes, shares and comments. So that is what lets you know that, oh, the viewers really enjoyed this or they did not enjoy it at all. Then two is the emotional resonance metrics. It measures things like sentiments, emotional response, the kind of responses. I mean, you have to go to the comment section to actually read and indicate how well your story resonates with your audience. So the more people are engaging in terms of comments, when you're looking at the comments, we're not talking about thanks for sharing, oh, inspirational, thank you, God bless you. No, we're not looking at that. We're looking at deep analysis of the comment. It shows their level of understanding, if they actually understood the story you were telling. Right? Another metric is behavioral metrics. Metrics such as click-through rates, conversion rates, and sales can indicate how well your story drives behavior. So you can tell a story and then you can get 200 leads from just one story. And you can tell a story and you will not get any lead at all. Right? So you can even tell a story and the 200 leads you got, out of 200 leads, 50 converted. So that is what they mean by behavioral metrics. Then you have return on investment, ROI metrics. Methods such as returns on ad. Maybe if you decide to do a sponsored ad on your story, it can indicate the financial impact on your storytelling efforts. But I don't really use so much of that. I do more of the engagement metrics, the emotional resonance metrics, and the behavioral metrics. But return on investment metrics also is very credible and factual, because we are talking about data driven KPIs, so that you are sure that you are not just telling irrelevance, because at the end of the day, we are all looking for results, right? So there are certain methods for measuring storytelling success, and there are several of them. So I'll just attend to just a few. So one is surveys and focus groups. You collect the feedback from your audience to understand how they respond to your stories. Another is analytic tools. I know LinkedIn has that, so you can always measure that on a daily basis. So you use analytic tools such as Google Analytics or social media analytics tools to track engagement and behavioral metrics. So you don't need to start calculating manually in your brain. All these things can be gotten online. Then we have what we call A and B testing. These different versions of your story to see which one performs better. This story against this story. This story against this story. It's always also a very nice way. Also, we have storytelling metrics frameworks, such as the storytelling metric frameworks. Basically you just use it to evaluate the impact of your stories? How impactful is it? But at the end of the day, for me personally, speaking for myself, I mean, the survey and focus groups, the analytic tools, A and B testing, I leverage more on those ones. But just so that you have the information and use whichever makes some sense for you. So there are certain challenges also in measuring storytelling success. Um, because I mean we are human beings, and we've been talking about emotional connection, deep connection, and all that. But the truth of the matter is storytelling is subjective. That's Let's be honest here, it is subjective. I could tell a story and it resonates with one person and not resonate with the other, depending on how they choose to interpret it. So it is subjective, right? So that's why we say it leverages more on emotional connection, and the pain points matter. So if someone is not having that experience of the story I'm sharing, they may not have any reason to resonate with it. So it's a subjective experience. It makes it difficult to quantify its impact because it's heavy, it relies heavily on emotion, and it can be misleading too because these metrics are just to guide you. I mean, human nature can be so peculiar and strange. People easily switch, depending on, some people can even resonate with the story based on their mood. Maybe they were happy today and they received the story properly, and the next day you share the same story and they're angry. So it can be misleading. And if for some reason they may not have even caught the full impact of the story, by the time they read it again, they're like, no, this doesn't sound interesting at all, it's boring. So you have to be careful of that, or have that in mind. And storytelling is a long-term investment. It's something that you just have to keep doing. Like I said, I've been doing it for quite a while. So it makes it difficult to impact in short term because you have to consistently tell stories. Now, not lies, please. I'm talking about, factual stories, of things that actually happened, and it may take a bit of time. So you have to track your storytelling ROI. Is so important, so that you are sure whether your story is actually relevant to the people that you are telling this story. And as usual, we always have our example. We have James, who's a solopreneur, and when he started taking when he started tracking, because I strongly believe in tracking. You must track the numbers. Don't say because it's storytelling, so there's no need to track. No, you have to. So when he started tracking his numbers, he was able to optimize his storytelling strategy. I'm not talking about optimizing profile. I'm talking about optimized storytelling strategy, because storytelling too also involves strategy. Remember, I talked about relevance, and that relevance has to do with you know, writing out the pain points and problems of your clients, writing out the features and benefits of what you can give to them, how soon they can get the result, or whatever it is point you're trying to drive home. It's so crucial that you apply strategy to it. I mean, its strategy is very, very essential, especially for business and sales oriented people. Okay, so as usual, our action plan is to set storytelling metrics, engagement, conversions, and the other ones I earlier mentioned. Track and analyze your results. I mean, be on top of the tracking. Don't go to sleep on it, so that you are sure that you are making data driven, informed decisions. Okay, not just emotional decisions. Yes, you're telling stories to hit people emotionally, but you must be very factual and logical about the data you are getting to analyze your results and adjust your storytelling strategy accordingly. Right? Remember, as I said, that measuring storytelling success is crucial to understanding the impact of your stories and making data-driven decisions to improve them by using metrics such as engagement, emotional resonance, behavioral and ROI metrics, and the methods such as survey, analytics tools, A/B testing, and storytelling metrics framework is what you can use to evaluate the success of your stories and refine your storytelling strategy and approach. Remember, measuring your storytelling success can be challenging. Remember, I said it's not so objective, because it depends on the perception of whoever is reading your story or listening to your story. It's essential to understand that the impact of your story, the information cannot be gathered if you create or follow the necessary metrics to be sure that you are using the right strategy. You may be telling the right story to the wrong people, or the wrong story to the right. You know how it is. So you have to make sure you're telling the right story to the right people, and not the right story to the wrong people. So that's of course that comes from, even first of all, understanding your target audience. And then we move on to the assignment, which is share your metrics and insights after a while. I mean, you can just try to start the storytelling journey, and in a week or so, most times on social media, within a week or so, you start seeing the results or the traction of, because what happens is that it tells the algorithm when more people are taking note of your story, engaging with your post or your content, and making comments, and of course sharing and liking. And as usual, you can tag me in your post, and I either give you a thumbs up or I correct you on how to do it better. And don't forget, hit me up if you have any questions or any other things you need to find out. You can have a discussion with me on LinkedIn, Dr. Ishoma Elora Ona, also known as Dr. Ish. And I'll see you some other time. For any of my other courses, please reach out to me. Take good care and stay amazing.